Welcome back to the news at 10. The police today tendered additional CCTV footage against the senator representing Adamawa North, Elisha Abo, as he is arraigned before a magistrate court in Zuba on charges of allegedly assaulting a woman at an adult shop in Abuja. At the resumed hearing, the prosecution counsel told the court that they have retrieved more CCTV footage that captured the incident, which they intend to tender as additional proof of evidence. Senator Abo was caught on camera assaulting a lady at an adult shop in Abuja, and the clip sparked a reaction on social media that forced the Senate to launch an investigation into the matter. European Union and the United Kingdom negotiating teams have agreed to a fresh Brexit deal, but there are concerns there might be opposition from UK members of Parliament. And this comes as the US Vice President Mike Pence today announced that Turkey has agreed to a ceasefire in northern Syria. Here's Simon Pusey with Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan reportedly put US President Donald Trump's letter regarding Turkey's military involvement in Syria in the bin.
Mr. President, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
There were no smiles as the US Vice President met the Turkish leader in Ankara on Thursday. Mike Pence travelled to the country to try and persuade Turkey to halt its ongoing military offensive in northeast Syria. It comes just days after President Trump supposedly said in a letter, "Don't be a tough guy, don't be a fool," as he urged President Erdogan not to launch a military offensive against Kurdish-led forces. Despite this, the Turkish military continues to send reinforcements along its border with Syria as part of their ongoing cross-border operation. A Brexit deal has been agreed between the UK and EU negotiating teams before a meeting of European leaders in Brussels. Prime Minister Boris Johnson tweeted, "We've got a great new deal that takes back control." The two sides have been working on the legal text of a deal, but it will still need the approval of both the UK and European parliaments. And the Northern Irish party, the DUP, has said it will not vote for the deal, potentially scuppering it. In a statement on Twitter, the party's leader said the Democratic Unionist Party will not be able to support these proposals in Parliament. For all these reasons, it is our view that these arrangements would not be in Northern Ireland's long-term interests. Meanwhile, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said the deal sounded even worse than what was negotiated by the Prime Minister's predecessor, Theresa May, but European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker said it was a fair and balanced agreement.
It provides certainty where Brexit creates uncertainty. It protects the rights of our citizens, and it protects peace and stability on the island of Ireland.
It also means that we can take together as a single, united kingdom, decisions about our future, about our laws, our borders, our money, and how we want to run the UK. And those decisions will be taken in the UK by elected representatives of the people of the UK. And I hope very much now, speaking of elected representatives, that my fellow MPs in Westminster do now come together to get Brexit done.
The veteran US Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings, who was heavily involved with the Trump impeachment inquiry, has died at the age of 68.
You're doing a great job. I guess you feel like you're doing a great job, right?
His office said he had died as a result of long-standing health challenges. As chairman of the House of Representatives Oversight Committee, he had instigated several investigations into the Trump administration. He also clashed with administration officials over healthcare and immigration. A leading Hong Kong protest leader was seriously injured after being beaten by a gang armed with hammers. Jimmy Sham, who is the leader of the democracy group Civil Human Rights Front, was taken to hospital for head injuries. Meanwhile, blood could be seen on the road where he was attacked by at least 4 men. It's the second time in 2 months that he has been assaulted. A series of forest fires have caused severe damage in South Beirut, and firefighters are still on the scene to help avoid a second round of fires. According to local media, more than 100 fires burst out in Lebanon on Monday and Tuesday. Fortunately, most of the local residents were evacuated in time, and the government hasn't reported any casualties. It's considered to be the worst forest fire in Lebanon in the past 10 years, with around 200 fire engines involved in the entire firefighting operation. Thousands of students have taken to the streets of Barcelona to protest against Monday's Supreme Court ruling that jailed 9 Catalan separatist leaders for up to 13 years. These demonstrations were mainly peaceful, but the sentences have triggered a series of violent protests which saw demonstrators cutting off access to Barcelona's airports, throwing Molotov cocktails and infrastructure being set alight. Police in Catalonia have detained 97 protesters since unrest broke out, with Spain's acting interior minister saying there will be no impunity. And finally, Britain's Prince William and his wife Kate joined locals in a cricket match on Thursday in the Pakistani city of Lahore. Kate took a while to get her eye in while batting, and when she did connect with the ball, she was caught by the bowler. Meanwhile, William seemed to do slightly better. The Pakistani government hopes the couple's 4-day official visit will boost the country's image as a tourist and business destination after decades of sectarian violence and political unrest. William and Kate, who have frequently donned traditional Pakistani dress by local designers during their trip, have highlighted education and the impact of climate change in the country. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Time now for some sports news. Head coach Imama Mapakabo has unveiled a list of 20 home-based professionals that will take on the Togo Sparrowhawks in Saturday's 2020 African Nations Championship qualifying second leg at the Agege Stadium in Lagos. The Super Eagles goalkeeper Ikechukwu Ezenwa tops the list, with Nasarawa United's forwards Sanusi Ibrahim and Akwa United Ndifreke Effiong, who netted the brace for the under-23 team in the 5-0 defeat of Sudan in Asaba in September, also selected. The Lobby Stars trio of Ibu Buduru, Sikiru Alim and John Lazarus make the list alongside Rangers midfielder Anthony Shimaga, who were also included. The Nigeria Football Federation has confirmed that the national beach soccer team will use the 2019 Copa Lagos tournament to prepare for the FIFA World Cup. NFF First Vice President Sheyi Akiomi said the Copa Lagos is a big platform for the former African champions to test against the very best before the World Cup in Paraguay next month. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is planning for the long term at Old Trafford, and hence it says he doesn't need any assurances about his future from the Manchester United board. Solskjaer revealed to Gary Neville in a wide-ranging interview that all the talks he has had with the club owners and executive vice chairman Ed Woodward have been about having a 3-year contract to change the culture of his squad. Amaya Tundebalu, and that's a wrap on Sports News. It's back to you, John.
Thanks a lot, Ayotunde. And the main news again. President Muhammadu Buhari today ordered a forensic audit of NDDC operations from 2001 to 2019. The president vowed to ensure that the agency accounts for the huge funds it received within the period, which he says has not brought any form of development in the region. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Bunyato. Do have a good night.